The marble hallways of Capitol Hill had seen countless arguments, backroom deals, and political battles, but that morning, they were unusually tense. Cameras lined the corridor, their red lights blinking as reporters scrambled for the latest headlines. The echo of hurried footsteps bounced off the tall walls, and whispers filled the air. Representative Jasmine Crockett adjusted her blazer and tucked a folder under her arm as she prepared to leave a heated committee session. She had been fiery inside, calling out hypocrisy, pushing for accountability, and standing her ground with confidence that had begun to attract national attention. But as she stepped out of the chamber, the noise outside was louder than expected. And standing in the middle of the hallway, like a storm waiting to erupt, was Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Greene's eyes locked on Crockett instantly. She had been waiting, arms crossed, jaw set, a smirk tugging at the corner of her lips, the kind of expression that said she was about to start something, no matter who was watching. Representative Crockett. Greene's voice carried across the marble corridor, sharp and calculated. Reporters turned their cameras toward the two women instantly, sensing drama. Crockett stopped mid-step, her heels clicking softly against the floor as she turned. She wasn't surprised. Greene had developed a reputation for ambushing colleagues, throwing insults, and chasing headlines. But Crockett wasn't the type to shrink away from confrontation. Yes, Representative Greene. Crockett's tone was cool, her face unreadable. Greene marched forward, her words spilling out before she even reached her target. You've been grandstanding in that committee like you're some kind of saint, defending corruption, covering for failures, and acting like you're above everyone else. You're not fooling anyone. The hallway went silent except for the frantic clicking of reporters' cameras. Staffers froze, unsure whether to intervene or step back. Crockett tilted her head slightly, almost amused. She could feel the energy of the crowd building around them. This was Greene's playground, public ambushes, chaos, noise. But Crockett wasn't about to play her game. Representative Greene, she replied evenly, I don't need to fool anyone. My record speaks for itself. Can you say the same? The crowd buzzed. Greene's smirk faltered for a fraction of a second before she doubled down. Oh, don't you dare lecture me about records. You're too busy chasing the spotlight, throwing insults in committee hearings, and pretending to care about the American people. The truth is, you're nothing but. Crockett cut her off, not with a shout, not with anger, but with a calm, razor-sharp one-liner that sliced through the tension like a knife. And in that instant, the hallway exploded. Reporters gasped, staffers exchanged stunned looks, and within seconds, phones were out, recording every angle. The moment was about to go viral. The cameras leaned in. Reporters, staffers, even random tourists on a Capitol tour were holding their breath. Greene had tried to unload her usual barrage of accusations, but Crockett's poise had unnerved her. And now, it was Crockett's turn. With a calm smile, Jasmine Crockett stepped closer, her voice carrying just enough volume to reach every microphone in the hall. Representative Greene, the difference between us is simple, you make noise, I make progress. The words landed like a thunderclap. There was no need to shout, no need to match Greene's fire with fire. Crockett's line was short, sharp, and devastatingly effective. For a split second, Greene froze, her mouth still half open, searching for a comeback. But the damage was done. Reporters erupted into a frenzy of questions. Their voices overlapping. Representative Crockett, can you repeat that? Do you have a response to Greene's accusations? Representative Greene, do you have a reply to what Crockett just said? Phones lit up across the hallway as video clips were immediately uploaded to social media. Within minutes, hashtags began trending. Hashtag NoiseV's progress, hashtag Crockett clapback, and hashtag hallway showdown. Greene tried to recover, her face flushed with anger. That's cute, Jasmine. Real cute. But your so-called progress is nothing but political theater. At least I'm not afraid to speak the truth. Crockett didn't flinch. She adjusted the strap of her bag and gave a subtle shrug. Truth usually doesn't need to chase people down in hallways to be heard. That line drew audible gasps. Some staffers couldn't hold back their laughter. Even one of the security officers standing by bit his lip to hide a grin. Greene's smirk had vanished completely now. Realizing she was losing control of the narrative, Greene turned abruptly and stormed down the corridor, her aides scrambling to follow. Reporters didn't chase her, they swarmed Crockett instead. Representative Crockett, what inspired that response? Do you feel like Greene targeted you unfairly? Do you see this as a pattern of harassment? Crockett held up her hand, keeping her cool even as the microphones pushed closer. Look, I'm here to do my job. If someone wants to create a spectacle, that's their choice. But I was elected to serve the people, and that's where my focus will stay. It was the kind of answer that struck the perfect balance between firmness and professionalism. And it only made her one-liner hit harder. The viral explosion. By the time Crockett made it back to her office, her phone was buzzing nonstop. Texts, calls, notifications, her staff had to set up an emergency system just to keep track of it all. Clips of the hallway confrontation were everywhere: CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram Reels. One slowed down the exact moment Crockett said the line, replaying it with captions, "You make noise, I make progress." Another set it to dramatic background music. Memes flooded in within the hour. One viral post showed a split screen, Greene shouting on one side, Crockett calmly delivering her one-liner on the other, with the caption, "Volume doesn't equal vision." Even celebrities chimed in. A famous actor tweeted, "Just witnessed Jasmine Crockett give the comeback of the year. That hallway belongs to her now." Behind the scenes. Meanwhile, in Greene's camp, the mood was furious. Staffers argued over strategy: should they ignore it, or try to spin it as a media setup? Greene herself went on a conservative talk show that evening, trying to downplay the moment. She had a prepared line, "Okay. It was staged. Typical political theater," Greene snapped. But the problem was, nobody believed it. The authenticity of the moment, the ambush, the calmness, the timing, was exactly why it had exploded online. It wasn't staged. It was real. And people could feel it. The aftermath. Over the next few days, Crockett's fundraising numbers surged. Grassroots donors from across the country sent small dollar contributions with messages like, "For more progress, less noise." Editorial boards praised her composure, contrasting it with Greene's theatrics. In town halls back in her district, constituents applauded when Crockett walked on stage. People quoted her line back to her like it was a campaign slogan. Even on Capitol Hill, the shift was noticeable. Lawmakers who usually kept their distance from Greene were now openly rolling their eyes when she launched into her rants. Meanwhile, Crockett had earned new respect, even from colleagues who didn't always agree with her. Politics. The hallway that made history. Weeks later, reporters were still asking about it. And every time they played the clip, the power of that one moment was undeniable. In politics, there are endless speeches, hearings, and sound bites that vanish into history. But sometimes, one sentence, delivered at the right time, in the right place, changes everything. And in that Capitol hallway, Jasmine Crockett had delivered hers. Because when Marjorie Taylor Greene tried to ambush her, Crockett didn't just respond. She went viral.